6:30, I'll call the meeting to order. First up, modifications and changes. Anything to add? Pretty hefty agenda as it is. All right, public comment. Anybody here from the public tonight?
She's on the agenda who I'm letting in right now,
Yeah.
so.
No one from the public. Review and approval for the minutes of March 26th.
I move we approve the electronic.
Second.
All right, Sandy made a motion, Eli
I
second.
read them twice.
All those in favor say
Just
aye.
really checking to
Aye.
see if I know what I'm doing.
Those opposed, nay. Yeah, next we have A&E to discuss the bid analysis and recommendations for Elm Street water and wastewater.
Is that it? So folks showed up to help us understand this big packet that we sent. I sent it out, I'm guessing nobody decided to read it over the weekend, which is fine.
No,
They're gonna give us a 2-cent version of it all.
Good,
Um,
let's listen.
Actually, I don't know if we've mentioned it yet, so our bid came in a little higher than what the estimate was for the Elm Street water and wastewater project, so. Things moving forward nicely, we almost have all of our easements done for the project, and I'll let Jason and just take it over.
Sure, so I'll go through just the body of the report and summarize it for you guys. Basically, it breaks down the total bid price that we received from Munson Earth Moving Corporation, which was $1,793,575. This breaks down the funding sources, which are available through the CSO ARPA funds, as well as the Vermont SRF loan program, which carries a 50% subsidy based on the final project costs. Based on that, as well as we have 3 references that we call to just get from Munson Earth Moving Corp. We've worked with Munson several times, and it's always been a good project, at least that I can remember. I can't remember any bad ones. This lays out Munson's their bonding capacity, as well as their financial backing. They are certainly financially capable, and their bonding company is ready to issue bond for the project as well. Also included would be the total project costs, which outlines the engineering fees, as well as including the construction cost, which is broken out into the drinking water and clean water sides, as there's 2 buckets of money that is coming from. And then on the far right, it details the totals. We also carry a 5% contingency on the construction costs to cover unknowns as the project goes on, change orders, whatnot. Typically, we see those contingencies used, maybe not entirely, but it's not, if you're looking at the total construction cost, include that 5% in it, even though it's not the total bid, just because things will come up, and we include that in our, the funding application, so that is covered by the funding sources. The engineering fees are based on what we've already got under contract for. And then also included is the total bid from Munson in our bid tabulation, which shows Munson's bid alongside ECI's and our estimate. And it details every single linear item that the contractor will get paid for during the project. It just goes into a lot more detail into their total price. I'm missing Jason.
Nothing really. Sorry, I thought somebody was asking. Just a little bit on the total project cost. As James had mentioned, it's broken up into drinking water SRF, which is the water side, obviously, and then the clean water SRF, which I think I had a question from somebody here before. Why would they call it clean water?
That was me.
That's the sewer side. And so they're broken up, and the total project cost is broken up into these two buckets of money. The CSO ARPA funds you already have in hand. The village already has that money. You're using that money for Church Street right now. There's money that's anticipated to be left over from Church Street that's being applied to this project. And that currently is $327,000. The drinking water program applies for your community a 50% disadvantage subsidy to the total project cost. And that right now sits at $987,000, a little over $987,000. That would be adjusted at the end of the project once we know the final cost of the project. So once we're done with construction out here, we have final costs, and actually 1 year after construction is complete, your loan will go into closure, and that's when that subsidy is applied. So it's applied to principal forgiveness. So that number is going to fluctuate. Like Jameson said, we carry a 5% contingency. That's a requirement of the state of Vermont to do that for these program projects. Typically going into construction, we carry 10. That drops to 5 once we're ready with a contractor. Whatever we do or do not use from that will, at the end of the project, go away. That doesn't stay in your loan. That all gets adjusted out at the end of the project when your loan goes into payment. So ultimately, your overall bonding capacity was about 1.6 million. And with the subsidies and the CSO applied to the project, that leaves about a $987,000 loan at the end of the project is what's expected. Interestingly, the breakdown between water and clean water on this project yielded that there are some CSO ARPA funds left over that won't be used or that we're not anticipating to be used between Church Street or Elm Street. So that's just something for you all to just keep in mind.
Brian's already plotting.
Okay.
Don't worry, we're on it.
Okay, that's great. I mean, use it up, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's there for. And again, at the end of this project, we carried in the project a couple of spot repairs on the sewer line. And those are really a what if in the contract. There are a couple of spots out on Elm Street where during televising, we weren't sure whether we could actually get through the sewer line with the liner. So if that can't be done, then we have costs already built in to excavate and do a spot repair. But if we can get the liner through, then you don't need to use that line item in the contract, and that gets balanced out at the end. So that will change, actually increase your uncommitted CSO ARPA funding for this project. So that's just something to keep in mind. We won't know that for a little while.
Yeah.
So that's just it. I just wanted to detail the total project cost a little bit more.
Thank you. Who covers the upfront funding?
So what happens is you have your CSO money. You already have that. A drinking water SRF loan has been submitted to the state. Last time I was here, that was the document that we discussed and you all signed. That's been submitted to the state. They've received it. They processed that loan. It takes maybe 6 to 8 weeks for them to process that loan. It has to go to the bond bank. The bond bank has to prepare loan documents. Those formal loan documents come back to you for signature, and then the loan gets processed. Once the loan is processed, then Abby can submit for reimbursement to the drinking water SRF program. However, in the interim, you need to either utilize capital or you need to have some sort of a bridge loan or line of credit in place to be able to pay the contractor up until the point at which you can get reimbursed through the drinking water side. And I think that's something that John and Abby have already been working on a little bit.
We've talked to People's Trust and even the bond bank. It's called a bond anticipation note. So we just need to kind of finalize on that paperwork.
Good enough. Any other questions? Anything else?
I was just gonna say, so sort of the next step right here is we have a recommendation that the Village of Enosburg Falls Elm Street Water and Sewer Improvements Contract Number 2 be awarded to Munson Earth Moving Corporation of Williston, Vermont in the contract amount of $1,792,575.00. So that's essentially, if you all agree to concur, that would be the recommended motion. You can make whatever motion you want. And then, John, we have some other letters that I think Jameson sent to you once the trustees concur, that we'll need to send back to the state, so the state can then concur. So
I'm gonna assume they're a little bit.
they were low bid. You have to go with low bid unless they are non-responsive or not a responsible bidder, and that's driven by whether they submitted a complete bid and whether they can get bonded. Essentially, those are sort of the two criteria, and that's why in our bid analysis, like Jameson mentioned, we go through, check their bonding and banking.
Okay, if there's no other questions from the board, I guess I'll have a motion for the village to accept Munson Earth Moving Corporation's bid for Elm Street Water and Sewer Improvements, contract number 2, in the amount of $1,792,575.
Move.
Second.
Leonard has the first, Leonard has the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, nay.
I was like, what?
Great.
Thank you very much for the update.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Very, very
Coming.
concise.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. I'll keep you up to date on the easements and I'll get these out tomorrow.
Yeah, if I need to, is it Jesse?
Yeah.
If you want me to, I coordinate with him, I can.
Okay.
If you
Let
need
me,
help with that, that's fine, whatever you need there.
yeah, you've just been a little busier lately, so.
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure. We will wanna, we can talk about scheduling, but we wanna get Munson lined up pretty soon, so.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Great.
Thanks,
you,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you.
We can hardly wait.
Okay, up next, Heroes?
At Cool Smith.
International Park Permit
Yeah,
Request.
that's a Cool Smith.
Correct.
Yes, hello everyone.
Hello.
Aye.
Hi, good evening. So, yes, my name is Akua Smith. I'm here representing Kairos International, which is a Enosburg-based 501c3. And this is regarding our application for the use of Lincoln Park on September 7th from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. We are actually doing an event at the Enosburg Opera House. It is 7 hours of music, worship. It's a faith-based event, and we are expecting about 500 people, which, as you know, the Opera House holds around 300 people. We have secured parking for the event at the high school, elementary and middle school, so on their property, and we're requesting use of the park as part of our overflow strategy. We will also, we are expecting to have some food vendors, so we'll have some food trucks parked out there, an overflow potentially with a projector and some of the music from the actual event playing out at the park. So our request is utilization of the park from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. The actual event is from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m., but that gives us some time for setup and tear down at that location. So I'll pause here to see if there's any more specific questions that I can answer related to the ask.
Akua, this is Heather Moore. Where are you intending to have the food vendors next to the Opera House or around Lincoln Park?
Around the park
That's
would be ideal.
Have you considered any traffic alterations? Like if you have too much traffic in the street?
So, still pending, however, what we're planning on doing is having individuals to direct traffic from the school to the Opera House around the backside rather than on Main Street. So yes, we'll have people guiding traffic. And by the way, I've got, I didn't introduce, I've got Daniel Tomasji, who's my husband here, so he's supporting with this too. He can jump in for any questions. But that piece is still in process. Right now, we're working on some of the earlier pieces of preparation and planning for it. But that is on our project plan in terms of what the traffic strategy would be, and certainly are open to any recommendations.
I have a question. My question is if the total sort of people is 500, and they're probably not all going to go to the park at the same time, but under sanitary facilities, it says no facilities. Is the one portalette that's in the park going to be enough to handle that many people for that amount of time?
So that we have no facilities at this point because we have not secured those. We're waiting on the ticketing just to confirm how many people will be in attendance, and then we'll place an order for facilities once we have a clearer number of what the expected population is. Right now, it's looking like we're just over 300, so we'll continue to watch those numbers and secure that. The plan is around June or July to get a better sense of how many people that we are actually going to have there.
Okay.
I noticed yesterday they had, Brenda estimated counted about 400 in the park, and the couple times I walked up to the park, both portalettes were being used pretty heavily. So
I'm sure they were.
definitely an additional to one we have in the park would be helpful if you get that one.
And you'll want to reserve it as early as you can, because from past experience, they book, all of them, they book up fast. Of course, that's foliage and,
Okay.
So for the time being, can we pencil something in here for additional portalettes?
Absolutely. So John, did I hear you correctly? You said there was an event yesterday that had 400 people and you had 2?
The Eclipse event, we estimated about 400 people wandering around the park, and we have our one that we traditionally have there all summer. There was an extra one added, and they were both, I wouldn't say they were busy, but there's a bit of a line outside of both of them. Both times I walked up, it's one of the things I kind of noted. So I would definitely suggest at least one more on top of the one that we normally supply for the park for the summer.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, we'll go ahead and pencil in 2, just with the understanding that we're saying 500 people, and obviously the main event is going to be at the Opera House, and they'll have some facilities there as well. So let's pencil in 2, and if we start to see the event growing much beyond that, then we'll continue to consider increasing that as it grows, as tickets sell.
great, thank you.
Do you have any plans for providing power to the food trucks? For vendors?
My understanding is that there's access to power out at the park, based on both the use permit and then being at events in the past. If I'm off on that, or if there's something different that we need to be aware of, please let me know.
Well, some of that depends on how many food trucks and where.
So the Lions
Right
own
now.
the power receptacles, correct? So you'll need to get in touch with the Lions the Lions Club to see if they would let you use their electrical receptacles in the park.
Those are those wooden boxes that you saw when the Christmas decorations were up. They look like little white huts.
Perfect, yes, thank you. And they're actually on our list to connect with, so I appreciate you telling me that, just to get a better sense, knowing that they've done some large events out there as well. But I'll certainly get in touch with them. As of right now, it looks like we're gonna have 3 food trucks.
So, yeah, they are aware. I mean, I've talked to them already, and they've advised us that there's events that happen in the park. They are more willing to support by whoever needs them to use those doghouse power boxes.
Perfect, thank you for that.
Would anything additional need to be done in order to reserve spaces for food trucks?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if there's gonna be that many people plus
We
vendors,
need to close Mrs. Square Street.
it would probably be smart to close Missisquoi.
That's
I
what
know
least
it'll
that
help
section.
yesterday.
Because there's a lot of foot
Give that
traffic.
space for the people that kind of stage and get.
'cause that's a Saturday, so
Yeah. What time does
Even if we did it
Champlain
from,
Chevy
like,
they
the-
usually close at noon, don't
Right,
they?
so if we did it
Saturday.
from noon on,
I
So
think she said
what, remind me again what the actual hours of the event are?
12 p.m.
12 to 7.
12 to 4?
I'm looking.
12 to 7.
Bear with me
12 to
a second.
7
I
is what
started
she said.
12. 1 second, let me confirm.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
looked at
Because I don't know if we have enough
7 hours of work.
power off that pole.
It's 12 to 8.
12 to 8 p.m.?
Yes.
Is that after dark?
Oh, it's
in September.
September. It's gonna be close.
close.
While you're looking at that, what's the rule for the park, in the evenings? What time is it supposed to be, I guess, closed?
10,
it's 10 o'clock is,
10 o'clock.
So
Okay.
7:16 is sunset, just FYI.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay, do you wanna have them close Mrs. Coy at noon?
I think that's the safest thing to do, especially if there's gonna be that many people
Now
on
you're
there.
just gonna close
Yeah.
it
If there's-
to the,
Just the length of the parade.
yeah, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
where it intersects with Stebbins or whichever one that is.
If I may add some additional context, so in the earlier part of the day, we don't expect that large of a population. So from 6 to 8, the last musician is a fairly popular musician coming from New York that a lot of people know about locally, so that's where we really expect a heavier traffic flow.
Okay, and when will the food trucks be out?
The trucks will be out all day.
Okay.
So from 12 to, I would say probably, definitely we would shut those down by dark, so maybe 12 to 6 until we start that last session.
What do you think? Any other additional requirements, questions, concerns?
I think there'll be if we close Missisquoi, there'll be no issues with traffic control? With that many?
So it says here, you'll have volunteers provide traffic control. Your parking is off-site. So what kind of traffic control are you anticipating on having?
The people as they come in, sometimes you can't control where they're coming from and stuff like that. So that, like traffic with people coming in and too late that they go to where they're supposed to park.
Are you referencing vehicles or individuals walking? Because here, the plan is that we'll have parking attendants at the school to help direct people to where they're going to park. And then we will be providing some type of transportation back and
Okay.
forth between the school and the Opera House. Obviously, some people may want to walk, but, certainly to support those people who need assistance walking or who would prefer to be driven.
Okay, we have barriers, right?
correct.
I looked them up yesterday. But you probably have to call somebody in, 'cause we didn't leave them out last
Right.
night, 'cause they're brand new.
Yeah.
So we had Kevin come in home.
Yeah, we just wanna be strategic about the timing so that it doesn't interfere with Champlain Chevy's business hours.
Yep.
Yeah, so
I'll talk to him.
99% sure they close at noon.
Yeah, I was
we
trying
just
to look
close at
online, but it
12:30,
wasn't.
close Mrs. Coy at 12:30. Okay, so right here I have,
The only other thing I got, insurance of some sort.
Oh, yeah.
do you have, are you planning on getting event insurance for this?
Yes, we are. The organization will supply event insurance for that one day. And we've done that in the past for other events as well.
Okay, so what I'm thinking so far is if you guys agree, accept the permit with the following stipulations. That Missisquoi Street gets closed from 12:30 to 8 p.m. We'll provide barriers. That they need to provide at least 2 additional portalets. That they need to provide a copy of their event insurance, and they need to contact the Lions Club for the power station.
Sounds like it crossed all the T's.
Yes. We can make the motion that it's what you said, rather than having to repeat it.
Did you hear all that?
I did, yeah, so Mrs. Floyd closed, which is not necessarily directly related to us, two additional portalets, insurance, and contact the Lions Club for the electric receptacles. Did I get everything?
Yeah.
That's it. Yep.
Yep. Perfect, got it.
We haven't moved yet.
Okay. Motion to accept both the park use permit and the Lincoln Park bandstand permit for Carols International for the music event, given the stipulations provided earlier.
Waiving the fee. Approve.
And waive the fee. Leonard made the motion.
Second.
Eli made the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries. Sounds like it's gonna be quite an event.
Yeah, good luck, you got a lot of work to do, I think.
Yes, I do. Hopefully you guys will come out and join us. Thank you so much for this, and I appreciate the insight. It was great talking to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night. Alright, next one's American Legion Park permit for the Thunder Rally.
I just still have a question. How come we can't, if we all agree on these, why can't we just do it all at once? Why do we have to do each one individually?
Well, if there's no additional requirements, then
Right. Like if we read through them, we're all like, yep, they all look
Are you
good.
talking like for an individual or,
But-
I think it's so that it can be put in the notes individually in case there's ever a reason to question
With
any
one in
part of
particular?
the motion.
Yeah.
At any point in the future.
And if you add any stipulations. to
Right,
one
that
or
makes
the other.
sense. Like if we don't add
But
any
this way,
stipulations,
it's perfectly clear,
Yeah.
no matter who looks.
And it shows that we've looked at each individual.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we did. Or I
There's
did.
those damn trustees and their blankets.
Alright, whatever.
alright, I know, I just gotta buckle in.
Yeah.
Get through 'em. Alright, American Legion Post 42, annual Thunder Rally for Memorial Day. Everything looks good, they're providing additional portalets and stuff. It's been good every year,
Absolutely.
so, and then they have a bandstand one too. correct?
Yeah, that's later on.
Yeah, they always do that too.
Okay, let's just get him out of the way, I guess. I know it's all the same person, but yeah. Motion to accept, Post 42 Lincoln Park, permit.
Vermont
park use
Thunder.
permit.
Yeah.
Eli's the first, second.
Second.
Dan the second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
No,
Alright,
no fee.
That was
No
Can you guys
fee.
make sure to add that in, please?
Feelers.
next one, American Legion Post 42 coin drop on May 27th. Motion to accept.
Move.
Second.
Eli the first, Heather the second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hopefully the street will still be there.
Those opposed, nay.
Might have to put them in the ditch.
Well,
We survived the rapture yesterday.
Well, they go roughly in front of my house. They
Oh,
won't-
yeah, yeah.
I was just thinking of the Elm
What
Street
are they-
project.
Hopefully they start at the top.
Well, that won't start till after. That was one of the stipulations, we can't start till after June Dairy Days.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Be
Alright,
entertaining.
so now
End of
I'm
the year.
slightly confused. So they filled out a parks use permit application, but they did the bandstand only?
Yes, that is for, I think you'll find the
This is
traditional
Memorial Day.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, so
service.
this parks use permit should be a bandstand permit, correct?
Correct. There is,
Well, mine someone has neatly written in someone else's handwriting, bandstand only.
I think that was
Psyche.
Psyche.
Yeah, okay, so this is for the bandstand for the Thunder Rally.
They usually, yeah, because they usually submit both the parks permit and then
The bandstand permit.
and a
Yeah.
bandstand permit. They usually submit both.
So I don't wanna be a pain, but can we reach out and have them just fill out the bandstand permit application and we'll accept this in lieu of the bandstand permit application until we get one? Motion to accept.
Move.
Second.
Eli had the first, Heather the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, now we have a different one. High school park permit request for graduation. I think I'm missing my first page of
I
that.
think they got out of order. They got
Yeah.
kind of screwed up.
Okay, not a problem. We can adapt.
It should just be.
This is just for graduation.
Yeah.
It's been going good
8 to 2.
every year. If everyone agrees,
The only thing they didn't check was whether or not they're gonna secure anything to the ground.
And it looks like, are they having a tent?
Right.
the usual,
Because it says volunteers in the rental company will pick everything up after the
Yeah, I
event.
think they usually have a big tent.
I think, yeah.
And I think
I think they
Okay.
kind of went with the tent
No,
after
we
that
usually
year they
make
had
them
to
do
do
dig
CPR
safe.
and somebody
Right.
was
Yeah.
at
they have
the
to do dig
event.
safe.
I just noticed that they didn't check that one off. Yes or no?
okay, well, we can accept it and just, we'll put a yes and just reach out to them to make sure that they,
Get a
if
hold
they
of
do
dig
see
safe.
anything on the ground, they need to dig safe it.
When I send the approval letter, we send an approval letter for everything. I can make sure to include, I include all the
Okay.
stipulations, so I can add that in.
Does this include the parade? After graduation, they usually,
They didn't ask for one.
No, they
To
did
host-
parade for
Oh,
like
no.
2 or 3 years because of COVID. It was a COVID thing.
It was a
Yeah.
Joseph thing. It was a Joseph parade.
Do they have a rain, if it's gonna be raining, are they using the gym again? You know?
I think they would have to.
They did
Wind
last
blows
year.
through that bandstand pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
it's fine if it's straight down rain and no wind.
either way, okay, motion to accept Enosburg High School's park and bandstand use permit request for the graduation, provided that we notify them about dig safe.
And we were,
Leonard with the first, Eli with the second,
Second.
oh, wait, it's B, sorry. All those in favor say aye.
I,
And those opposed, nay. That motion carries. Now, we have Enosburg Town Band.
I saw it right here.
Actually, they have two.
If you move forward, it's split into.
Oh, I got messed up. Should have both.
There's 2 pages?
Yeah.
Oh, should have the park permit
They're
or
wedged
bandstand?
between some of the high school stuff.
Yeah, it's just kind of mixed up. Okay, and this is gonna be same Tuesday evenings, every Tuesday from June 11th to August 20th. Did they provide a time on it?
It starts at
6 to 9. They didn't include one on the bandstand permit. I'm gonna assume,
since that's where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the.
since these are accompanying permits, we're gonna say that it's gonna be the same time. Okay, if nobody has any issues with either of those, I'll hear a motion to accept.
can we give them a couple extra weeks?
Can we?
If they
Rain
get
dates?
rained out, if they get rained out,
I think
They
they
usually just,
They just bag it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just.
yeah, I know they bag it, but I enjoy this, and then they're done, and then we get beautiful weather.
they usually stop right when school gets going.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a matter of school because there's school, like some of them are, some of the band members are students and teachers, so it's school.
And those students that are band members are growing in numbers.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
So that's their reason for stopping.
okay,
And the attendees will often don't wanna stay up until 9 because they have to go to school tonight.
yeah, okay,
Can't party all night on school nights.
it's okay.
Okay, motion to accept both the parks use and the bandstand permit application for Enosburg Town Band, waive the fee.
Move.
Second.
Eli the first, Heather the second, all those in favor say aye.
Uh,
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Yeah, that's it for purchase use permit.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Kind of, yeah. Then there's the
Next one,
big one.
Wow, this
The Dairy
is starting to feel
Festival.
like spring.
Yeah, it is.
Summer, like,
We keep talking about the park.
once again, the Enosburg Lions Club are planning on hosting the annual Vermont Dairy Festival, and out of courtesy, they wrote a letter requesting the May 31st through June 2nd. Yeah, any issues with those dates?
Sounds good
I
to
guess
me.
we will make a motion to grant the Lions Club permission to operate Dairy Day from May 31st to June 2nd.
I move we
Second.
so accept.
Jenny the first, you have the second, all those in favor say aye.
Hi.
I think we're gonna make sure Norm is aware of, 'cause sometimes if it's the 31st, sometimes they start setting up. Just have to be mindful of that.
Oh,
On
on
the
the 30th.
30th.
Oh, the Legion one.
Sometimes they start setting up Dairy Days on the 30th. the
They
day
need to
before.
talk to each other.
Yeah, so we're gonna make sure that they coordinate. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
Too much
Yeah.
going on.
I think, technically legally, since we have a separate ordinance for this, the Lions Club
Takes.
has priority, but out of courtesy, yeah, we can have them reach out.
Yeah.
Just make sure there's no conflicting.
I'm sure they can work around it.
I would imagine.
I feel like they'll be respectful of that as long as they know the times.
Well, and it's a, it's a pretty solemn holiday, so I'm sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's two things for you.
Where are we at?
Wednesday.
Childcare,
Learning Tree Child Center allocation request. So they are looking for an additional 2 sewer allocations and 2 water allocations for the child care center at the industrial park. And I guess additional allocations are needed. They're serving 2 meals a day. Ooh,
And one snack.
Yeah, I think they had.
Can anybody stop by for snack?
Alright.
Get your juice box and fill up.
You'll have to take a
Snack
nap.
All right. Sounds better and better.
Harry says wastewater and water department have capacity, so I will hear a motion to allocate an additional 2 water and 2 wastewater allocations to Learning Tree for a total of 4.4, and water and 6.4 for, 6.4 for sewer and water, sorry.
What would
Go
happen
from
if we said
4.4.
no?
The hungry kids.
Yeah, they missed out on their snacks. We can't have that.
Oh. No,
Yeah.
I'll move we accept.
I, move, oh,
Heather the first, Heather the second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I,
Those opposed nay. That motion carries. Okay,
We're such a happy group.
highway department furnace replacement.
You want it
Or I can, but dude.
We've already been over one of them.
Ken's reached out to several different plumbing HVAC individuals. We were only able to obtain the 3 quotes. Damien for 8,000. Mercy's heating was 13, almost 14, and Josh Kane was 7,400. Each proposed a different type of system. Based on the research Ken's done on all the systems, his recommendation would be to go with Damien's. It would be a very similar system to what we have now, but replumbed properly. The one that Josh Kane was proposing wasn't as efficient, and all the feedback Ken has gotten is that the unit Josh was proposing was extremely loud and just not kind of the best setting.
I do have one question that I didn't find, and maybe it's just because I didn't find it in a small print. I know that, Mercy's quote is a lot higher, but I also know he's removing the stuff that's there.
Everybody's
Everybody is? Okay,
including
'cause I couldn't
removing.
find that anywhere, so I
Yep.
just wondered if Damien was doing that.
No, everyone's, yes, I
Damien's
think
right here.
Mercy's was a little more
Basically,
detailed.
removable furnace.
Bottom line.
but Mercy is gonna change some ducting and some, rewiring and all that, and I
So-
don't see where Damien says that.
It
So
is,
Damien's
it's
is-
not in there,
I
but
mean, he's got
yes, it
he's got the
needs to
trunk
be
line and the elbows and
yeah,
the trunk
replumbed.
takeoffs. And
Just out of curiosity, how did we get different different quotes for different heating systems. Shouldn't they all be for the same heating
So
system?
each person is recommending a different system.
Each contractor has their own.
They have their
personality
own
to work
they
with.
like.
Yeah, they have their
Just
own
usually we
preference
go
and
for bids,
experience.
you know.
For
Right.
the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, okay, no worries, yeah, I would agree that Modines are very loud and not very effective.
Yeah, no.
That 96% York. I mean,
And there's gotta be some rebates or whatever for that. too.
Yeah.
Efficiency.
Yep, depending on what the efficiency level is, we should be able to get some rebates, yes.
And why did we, other than price, not wanna go with the Mercy stove?
that's.
I think it was the type of system, Ken
Yeah.
wasn't overly excited, I don't know a lot about HVAC systems, so I can't explain a lot more, but I know he wasn't excited about the system
I think it
that
was
he was
two.
proposing.
It's gonna be two different systems.
Yeah.
Whereas Damien's gonna be an all-in-one deal.
Got it,
I think
okay.
that's the biggest.
Okay, I just wanna make sure, cause it's still below what was budgeted, so.
Yeah, so Damien's is very similar system to what we have in there right now that generally has been working up until the last, they limped it along through the winter, I didn't know if we were gonna make it, but
It's probably quite old.
quite old and not,
It's not that old
Um,
though, because it's already natural gas, right?
it is, yes.
No, it was,
Maybe just
Or did they convert it?
converted.
Oh, they
okay,
converted
there
it,
you go. So yeah, it's probably is quite old.
and
I
there's,
don't know how old it is, but it was converted when natural gas came in.
and
This
there's
is
some
way better.
issues with the plumbing on it that's
Probably
causing
spend
a lot
less
of our
since they
issues.
don't rush.
Right, this is gonna be way better.
Okay, I think we should go with staff recommendation of Damien Lewin, for $8,000 to replace the furnace in the shop.
So moved.
Motion,
Yep.
Leonard with the first, Eli with the second, all those in favor say aye.
Alright.
Those opposed nay.
Do we have to give him a cribbage board?
No.
I know,
That's
when he's
it.
done.
When he's done.
When he's done, he can sit down and play cribbage with the guys. Not before.
Alright, FERC line of credit renewal.
We've been renewing this every year. We have a line of credit with People's Trust that's covering our FERC expenses and only our FERC expenses. We are at, I wanna say 426,000 so far in expenses for our FERC license renewal and no end in sight.
Yeah. Do we even see the end of the tunnel?
Well, we have a new game plan.
Yeah, we're kind of changing strategies here, so hopefully, but People's Trust has been working with us and just renewing and kind of rolling over the line of credit, and then once the license process is completely done, then we'll capitalize and term out the loan, but they're being gracious enough to let us roll it over because they know it's a special circumstance, so then they're staying at the 2.5% interest, which is what we've
I'm not gonna argue with that.
been
Yeah.
at.
I think we're pretty lucky they're being so good to us.
They've been amazing to us, so.
Okay, motion to give People's Trust our business for 12-month, 2.5 fixed rate on a FERC,
LOC,
loan.
line of credit, move,
Eli's the first.
Second. Somebody.
tie.
Sandy with the second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. Alright, now I need to review tractor financing.
So it's kind of the whole package deal. I tried to break it out as simple as possible. The final, and this, I shouldn't say that, the very close to final price on the Avant tractor with all of the not adapters, what do I wanna call it, John? What are all the parts for?
Attachments?
Everything, attachments, thank you, that we need. It comes to $112,995. And then I've included in this packet, there's warranty options. So there is the Premier coverage, which it's in here that it kind of goes over everything that it'll cover. And then they have a powertrain plus hydraulic coverage. I don't think we would need just to do the powertrain because all of that's included in the powertrain plus hydraulics. So, and my recommendation would be to go with both of those in addition, which would be another $3,425. We did put the tractor out to bid our John Deere tractor, sorry, out to bid. And we only received one bid, which was for 14,500. Pete's is only offering us 13,500 for trade-in with all the attachments.
That's not a bad
So it's $1,000 more, but it's $1,000 more. My recommendation would be to go with the bidder. And then as far as financing goes, I did reach out to 3 banks. I've only heard back from 2. Community National Bank was offering annual payments, 5-year loan, 5.295%. People's Trust can do monthly payments, which is easier on cash flow. 5 years, 3.5%, and the monthly payment will be $2,152.
How do they keep their rates so low?
They love us.
Right.
We have a lot of money sitting over there right now.
Who's the bidder?
Avery,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Since they're out of the
And-
market.
he's very anxious to know what your decision's gonna be, and I have to text him.
I think we should put this off until.
Yeah. Time for a nap.
He might cry. No, Avery is very hopeful that we go with his bid. He's very excited about the possibility.
Well, it is $1,000 more than pizza's up.
It is, especially with all the attachments that we're including with it. I know Ken and I were both a little surprised at the 13,500.
Attachments are kind of, I think, like car accessories.
Some people want them.
Some people want them, some
Right.
people don't. So
So all in all, if we accept the bid from Mr. Avery, we're gonna be financing just under 102,000. So that monthly payment that I just said from People's will be a little bit less.
We want the warranty?
I think so.
Okay. All right, motion to finance
Do
our
everything. Do
new,
everything Abby said.
yes, basically, our new tractor for $101,923 financed from People's Trust Company, 5 years at 3.5%. And award Avery the used John Deere tractor for $14,500.
Move.
Second.
Eli first, Heather the second, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Avery said
But if
thank
you
you.
rip that long, I'm gonna-
That's got it.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna sweat.
All right, other
I
business.
don't know if I'm doing good.
Anybody have any other business?
Well, we're there
I
already.
was speak to yesterday at the Eclipse, went very well. I think it was a good crowd, we were overly busy. We didn't have a couple of sheriffs wandering around, and my brother was one of them, so that was really good to have them around. I think it was good for a perception thing, for the tourist. So I had a guess,
Yes, maybe it
85% of them were out-of-staters that were here.
Yeah.
There was a high number of out-of-staters.
And one out of Norway.
Yeah, we had Norway,
Really?
Las Vegas, California,
Alaska.
Alaska. I guess some people were maybe Delaware, New Jersey-ish area, and they saw the weather and came here as opposed to going west. So I think it was a great event for everybody. I know Brenda said she got a lot of great feedback, and it was very calming, relaxing.
Did many people? Did they use Maple Park or no?
No, I think it was 3. Like I said earlier, she counted, obviously it's hard to count people as they're moving around, but she figured a little over 400 people that she estimated. They were spread out in different, I guess some people, I didn't realize, some people didn't make it to the village because the parking lot was pretty full and so wasn't the mobile parking lot.
There's something going on at the emergency services building too out back.
I think a lot of people ended up there.
The parking
Yeah, I
lot
saw a
was
lot of
full.
pictures of the back parking lot.
The bridge was full.
Yeah.
And then there wasn't a lot in the high school parking lot. There was a bunch tailgating in the elementary school parking lot. They had no issues with the fields. Nobody went down there. Pretty calm and quiet crew. So, went well. I think it's all good all around.
It's
After the eclipse, I sat on the porch, and I would dare say 300 cars, out-of-state cars, came from J Peak, I figured.
Yeah, it was
I
a constant
text
flow.
John about 4 to see how it was flowing because all of a sudden the cars on 105, everybody
Yeah.
headed west,
You
getting
see
the heck out. I was like,
The
oh.
interstate was backed
And you
up
could
from
tell-
exit
and you could
16 to
tell-
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
You could tell if they were Vermont cars because they were dirty.
Yeah, right. They said a usual drive, somebody posted their family, it usually is like an hour and a half to 2 hours for them to come visit. Took them 6 hours to get back home.
Yeah.
But
Because
apparently, according to something I saw today, a lot of the traffic on the interstate south of Burlington, a great number of those people decided when they could get, either off at an exit or something, bag it, we're not going home, and booked hotels and motels further south going down the state. So they ended up benefiting as well, even though they weren't in the path.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I heard people were using like the Waze app and stuff, and it was sending them over like mountain roads, and that's where people got in trouble.
Hopefully not too many use the rail trail.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a good event. Yeah. Just noticed somebody was shooting off fireworks
Yeah,
right at, I was like, that when it was like that wonderful quiet, and then all of a
it
sudden
was eerily
fireworks.
quiet in the
That's why I
village.
got
It was
Yeah,
weird.
it wasn't at my
disappointing.
house. My
It was
kids were
quiet,
wild
but
banshees.
it wasn't bad. We
Wasn't
hardly,
bad.
we
weren't
hardly
too
heard
rowdy,
those.
were we?
Was that you?
What?
The fireworks?
No, it wasn't. I was watching him. He didn't do a thing.
You didn't?
Sandy
Except
said
let his dog go in that cold water.
Yeah.
Raymond was hoping we were gonna shoot a beaver, but that wasn't what was happening.
No.
I was too busy watching the eclipse, but I've heard the fireworks.
I saw him.
I heard fireworks in Sheldon too.
They were.
I didn't see where they were, but
So where were they?
They're from where I was.
Way far away from my house.
It looked around Pleasant Street towards the park somewhere.
Yeah, it looked like.
somebody
it was
said they
down.
thought
I was
Mr.
gonna say down by
No,
the
redneck.
Catholic Church ish that way.
Yeah, I couldn't see exactly where.
It wasn't far.
Off
It
the
wasn't like them.
steeple of,
My dogs were
Off
fine
the steeple
until
of the
fireworks
Catholic
were going
Church.
off, and then they were not fine.
All right.
The only other thing that I had, I talked to John about this, speed signs, I don't think it needs to be an agenda item, we can just kind of.
Yeah, it's about time to move
They've
them.
lived by my house for long enough, where do we want them?
I was gonna ask that tonight, that pole in front of my house, is it gonna be used again?
You want one?
Sure.
We
It's
only,
there.
we only have one, right?
Two.
We do have two again?
Didn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't Church Street on the rotation? Have we gone to Church Street yet? I can't
We
remember.
came off of church.
Yeah, we-
Okay.
Yeah, it was on Church Street.
I couldn't remember.
Where haven't we been?
We were church
That-
street.
I know they don't like the main road, but like coming into town by mobile.
Oh, reminding people to slow down before
Right.
they get into town.
That's state highway. We
I
wouldn't be
know.
able to do it until
Have to be
up
close
past
to
Halls.
Halls.
We're just, yeah. we're
By
just-
Center
Halls.
Street, essentially, up there.
I'm stick one here. I know
Why
it's
not?
kind of a
Right by
pain
Zell's?
driving those anchors, but once they're in, we can put them back.
And we are gonna have the bollards up soon. The planters and all that stuff too.
By Main and
Yeah,
You turn
Dickinson.
around.
So we want one by Leonard's.
One by Leonard's, one by Hulls.
And then one over, by 105, Pearl Street, 105.
Wherever it's legal for us to put it there.
Well,
Even if it's not.
sometimes with the state, you just gotta do it.
You mean it's better to ask for forgiveness than it is to beg for permission?
Because if you ask, you'll get a no response about 6 months later.
If they're speeding though, can firecrackers go off or something to scare them?
If you're standing out there ready to go.
Yeah.
If you like the upgrade ones that yell at you when you're going too fast.
They flash a little blue light. that
Or they
usually
have
slows people
messages
down.
too, and yeah, there's some interesting ones.
I've tried typing them into the laptop, it doesn't compute up to the side. Trust me, I've tried.
But you felt better after you typed it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Has there been any updates on the sign in front of the town offices? I know Dave was working on some
We're
stuff.
waiting to hear back on a grant. We did apply for an AARP grant. We won't know for another month and a half. I know the town budgeted $10,000 to go towards a sign, and Dave started working with another vendor, and the prices, it'll be about $20,000, $21,000, because that included a discount where the other price was closer to 40. This doesn't include some miscellaneous stuff that we would need, so we're probably still looking at like 25,000.
But we
Dollar
don't need
ballpark.
one that looks like a Hollywood movie.
Now this one, the Swanton VFW, I believe. This is the same vendor. He really liked that sign, checked with them, went down and talked to Swanton, got a lot of good feedback. So it's a different vendor, but similar. So
Because Highgates is very simple,
Yeah.
but it looks really nice.
yeah, so I think at this point in time, we're just kind of waiting to see if we get the grant or not. But the town did allocate $10,000 in the budget, so I'm not, until we find out if we get the grant or not. We're kind of holding pattern.
The last I knew, the school one was supposed to still come up to people.
Yeah.
I
The last time I asked, this is what I got for an answer
guess it's
from the
supposedly,
bank.
yeah, they're just waiting on, because I believe Scott was supposed to help with digging, and Robert was just waiting on that, but I don't know where it's at.
I got a question with those signs. I went by one municipal sign the other day and it had an advertising on it. Is that legal?
I thought
Sure, it's
Ron
legal.
said
So
you
they-
couldn't.
that means they were.
Doesn't
paying
that make
for
it
the
a
sign?
billboard?
Well, I
Right,
don't know, there's a certain size requirement, because remember when Clark's got in trouble for,
right.
But I think as a municipality, we're not supposed to recommend
Anything.
any one over another, because I know
Right.
we won't, people will call here all the time for electricians and we cannot recommend anyone.
I mean, it could be a good way to pay for a sign.
I was gonna
but-
say, if the price is right,
But it doesn't really seem like something that I would do.
put us in that situation.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we even chose not to do that with the municipal board up on Main Street.
Yeah.
You know, it's for information only.
And that's the EBCA that does that board?
It's the EBA, yes. It's too many letters. Yes, we did that. As a matter of fact, it was a gift from Hull's Insurance.
Hooked on phonics. All right.
What else we got? Hearing no other business, I will hear a motion to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters.
Moved.
Second.
Eli the
Just
first,
saying email.
Leonard
picture
with the
or
second.
whatever.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed nay.
Say that again,
Motion
sorry.
carries.
Send you a picture of